Bella Vista Community Television presents Bella Vista and Beyond. Today our host is Mike Cleary, and we will be talking about JumpStart Northwest Arkansas and Hub of Hope. And now to the studio for our program.
Hello and welcome to Bella Vista and Beyond. This program focuses on people, businesses, and organizations in the Northwest Arkansas area. Last month, we were talking with Melissa Carter of Beautiful Lives Boutique, and their locations are Bentonville, Salem Springs, and Fayetteville. Beautiful Lives Boutiques is a ladies' fashion and jewelry store that assists organizations for women and people that need assistance in the Northwest Arkansas area and beyond. One of those organizations, we have representative, executive director, as a matter of fact, to Diva and Dude to talk to us about JumpStart Northwest Arkansas. Welcome, Carla. I'm glad you're here with us today.
I'm glad to be here today.
Now tell us about JumpStart Northwest Arkansas.
JumpStart NWA is a program that we use. It's our premier program in our organization. We use entrepreneurship as leverage for people who are on parole or probation. We help them devise their own business plan so they can become sustainable.
So you have people, you said, on parole and probation. How many people typically are involved in this organization, in taking advantage of the services?
Oh, we just finished a segment. We had a grant competition last Saturday. We started with 13, ended up with 10 finishing the program. Out of those 10, we had 4 who actually started a business. All of them except one has their EIN, and most of them have their business license and logo.
That's great. So you have a supporting staff that helps people start their own businesses.
Yes, we have I use anything and everybody that's to my access. I have a staff in the office. If we have issues where we have a client, we had one who could not speak English. We had his whole curriculum transferred to Spanish so he could finish the program.
That's great. Mm-hmm. Now, how many people, their businesses succeed through this organization? Do you have some people that, typical businesses that just don't, you've kind of flounder, or do these people really take off?
We had 3 that actually took off. During the process of going through the modules, the training modules, they actually started their business and have already had clients. One of the participants is actually operating in 4 different cities. He's a handyman service. So we have some that just take off and some that, becomes okay, I'm going to get to it later, but we have some that are very serious about it.
That's great. You have quite a few success stories, I'm sure.
Well, this was our first one. This is a pilot project that the Walton Family Foundation sponsored. And we're going to go back and say, hey, was this successful? Do we think this was successful? So we can continue. But I do have a waiting list now.
That's great. So you do keep up with them, not just start them. You keep an eye on them.
I keep an eye on them. I still keep an eye on clients that I saw 3 years ago.
That's great. And you also have Northwest Arkansas Leading Ladies. Tell me a little bit about that organization.
Northwest Arkansas Leading Ladies, it's just kind of a safe place. It's about 54 nonprofit leaders in the community from Bella Vista way past Fayetteville, and we have devised a safe place. This is like a place where it's like the board and beyond. We care about each other. Our organization's okay, but more about each other, because we want our leaders, our community leaders, need to be healthy as well. In order for us to lead our clients effectively, we need to be healthy. So we kind of get together. We have safe conversations. We try to do everything safe, respecting each other's boundaries, and we just talk. Sometimes we cry. We try to laugh a lot because sometimes as a community leader, we can go through places of stressful points ourselves with no one to talk to. So we become that place for each other.
That's great. So not only do you assist in starting new businesses, but also you support each other emotionally and spiritually. And
yes, and that
great.
is really what the Leading Ladies are about. Yeah. We do share information across the board. We do collaborate with each other. A lot of us have shared clients. We support each other's new ventures. We eat well together. So the basis of the Leading Ladies is we always try to meet around food. Food seems to be an icebreaker.
Comfort area.
Around the board. And it's always been for me. I always use food as a part of my platform. It just breaks the ice. It makes people more comfortable. So I do a lot of cooking, or we do a lot of restaurants.
Now, how did you personally get involved in this JumpStart Arkansas endeavor?
Actually, it was last year doing a budgeting class, and I walked away. I told everybody to write their income on the first line, and I turned around and this thought came to me. Okay, everybody draw a second line and tell me how much you're making on your side hustle. And they all, and I said, okay, I'm Vegas. This information stays in this room. And as I walked around the room, I had about 13 people in that class. I'm like, oh, no wonder we can't get y'all to apply for a job in McDonald's, because they were making so much money on their illegal activities. So I initially started a class called Legalize the Hustle. And we were working through that program. And somebody that I met a year ago knew somebody else. Next thing I know, I'm having coffee with someone I thought was just wanting to donate some money. It ended up being somebody from the Walton Family Foundation who wanted to sponsor this program. And I was like, who are you? Because I never paid attention to her email. But she sat down and we talked it through. And so this was a pilot project for this area. And it was an honor to serve the community with this. Hope we can do it again. I've got a waiting list.
That's great.
Yes.
That's great. So you were teaching this class. Where were you teaching?
Life skills class. I was teaching a life skills class, and a part of the life skills is the budgeting, and naive parenting. We talk about that, and all of these people are probation or parole. So a lot of them need the extra life skills that they might not have gotten while they were at home. So that's kind of how I started, but it has gone so much, it's evolved.
So are you still teaching it all, or are you just focusing entirely on this?
I am a teacher. Every time I sit down, I'm teaching. But yes, I do still do the life skills program.
You also have community development through community services. Tell me about the community services.
I devised a program for community service that empowers the individual. I work with a lot of individuals, same population, and they were going out. They do a lot of community service in thrift stores, which is well, but it does not empower them. So I started thinking about it, and so I kind of added in everything I do and made it a community service project. When they come to me for community service, they have to turn on their brain. So I have book reports. They can write a book report. John Hopkins is offering free certification on COVID-19 tracers. They can complete that. I give them community service hours. Anything that they have to turn on their brain for, I offer it to them as a community service. That way they walk away empowered mentally, educationally, and not always physically.
Yeah, so not just sweeping the floors or picking up litter or anything like that. You actually challenge them.
I challenge them. They have to turn on their brain. They do. And you would be surprised how many they don't want to. They would rather go sweep the floors or dig through trash.
You're too challenging.
Yeah, it's sometimes. No, you're going to turn on your brain when you hit Devin Dude's door. We're all about empowerment, I believe that's how we enhance our community, is empowering the people in it. So for me, it's education. I'm an education junkie. I'm a forever learner. So they're not exempt from learning. So that's what I offer. And it's been great because now we offer no contact community service due to COVID. So everything is online. They can go out online. They can register online. They can choose the classes that they want to take online. And when it's finished, they just send me the results and I give them the community service.
You also mentioned a phrase to me that kind of unfamiliar. You said wraparound services. I'm not exactly sure what wraparound involves.
Wraparound services, of course, during this process in COVID, some of my participants became homeless. And so what I did for them, because I'm not the expert in every area, I found an agency that will help house them, pay rent. If they needed mental health services, we've got someone in the circle to do mental health. We've got someone to do budgeting, somebody who is a community advocate, someone if they need to get their child back. We have someone that will work on reunification. We are actually wrapping around people. We are holding hands, one person in the middle, holding hands around them and giving them all the support that they need so they can become sustainable.
So you're not doing this all on your own. You have a group of people assisting you, I'm sure.
I use the whole community. If I know that if I find out if someone is an expert in that area, I have no problem calling them. Hey, I've got this person. We have a human who needs some help. Can you help them in this one area? And so I try not to overuse people, so I'm building networks. We build little communities, so if I'm gonna find out what you're an expert in before I leave. So if I come across someone who needs what you have, I can call and say, hey, we have a person in need in our community. And I think this is how we continue to build our community. We have to be able to help everyone.
So giving assistance or support or whatever, how do people get in contact with you in order to support your organization or volunteer their services?
www.jumpstartnwa.org, or they can call the number. We call it the Diva Hotline. It is 325-261-3482.
And so you're the diva?
No? They say so, but okay.
Well, that's great. You also get support from the Beautiful Lives Boutique. Is there any of your people assist in that endeavor?
Most of the women. Any women that I service, I have access to Beautiful Lives, Bentonville or Fayetteville. So it's simple. I can go up there with them. They are able to go there and get clothes, and they just don't go get clothes. They go get an experience, because that's what Melissa has structured in that organization. Even we did a photo shoot. We had a photo shoot last year, and each one of us, the leaders or whoever participated, we went in and had a whole experience. We had a whole shopping assistant, and it was pleasant, because most of the time, nonprofit leaders that are really in the streets working, us taking a shopping experience is like, most of the time we're ordering online, So for us to be able to take a break and somebody actually wait on us and cater to us and find out what we like, what looks good on us, it was phenomenal. So she offers that to our clients as well.
That's great. That's wonderful. So I appreciate you being here on the show with us this morning. And if people want to volunteer their services, they know how to contact you.
Yes.
Is there any other special requests that you need? Any special support or needs that your organization requires?
Right now, I am I'm in a down season right now, because I just finished that JumpStart program. I'm still taking clients. We are preparing for the winter for our homeless population. So anybody, all hands on deck. I will take any help that comes, because we're estimating about 100 people in our community that will be homeless this winter. So bring it on.
Great. Thank you, Carla, for being with us. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back shortly after these announcements.
Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Bella Vista Community Television presents our sponsor appreciation. Audrey's Resale Boutique, located in Forest Hills. Find the perfect item for your home decor. Beautiful collections, quality clothing, and more. Make your dreams come true at Audrey's.
Welcome back. Here is our host, Mike.
Thank you for tuning in to Bella Vista and Beyond, here at Bella Vista Community Television, we rely on volunteers to help with the camera in the studio and other technical services like our website. If you would like to volunteer, please contact us and we'll put you to work doing something either behind or in front of the camera. Next week we have JB Portillo as a host, and she's going to have a special Halloween show. We wouldn't want to miss that. My next guest is talking about something that we don't typically hear about in Northwest Arkansas, and the topic is human trafficking. Here to talk about her organization is Jennifer Sorey with Hub of Hope. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you so much for having me, Mike. We really appreciate it.
Well, tell me about the Hub of Hope. What exactly is this human trafficking subject?
Yes, well, it's interesting because a lot of people think that they kind of believe what human trafficking is, and they might think that it's something that happens way across the ocean, but never right here in this area. But it very much happens here. My start actually was on the international spectrum, and when I realized that I was going to be really rooted right here in Northwest Arkansas, I just started having conversations with a lot of different agencies that worked with what I really thought were high-risk individuals for trafficking, and realized that a lot of those individuals didn't even know that they might be working with potential survivors. And so it was just really evident that trafficking was happening here. We were seeing that. Hub of Hope was birthed. We work to bring healing and opportunities for victims of human trafficking, and we work to provide prevention and education to the community.
So you're a local, as a matter of fact. You're an Arkansas-er, I guess, is what the term is. So this is very close to your heart, something that's local.
It is, very much so. And you know, my husband and I actually really looked at what it could be like to move overseas and work in a field office for an international organization working with trafficking. And when that just didn't work out for us and we knew that door had closed, realized that we were going to be rooted here, of course, it would be great to believe that it doesn't happen, and especially in the place that I was raised and I'm so proud of. But this is not to discount any of that. There's no shame involved. We have to realize that it's happening everywhere, rural and urban communities, in every facet of it. And what I'm so proud of Northwest Arkansas is that people are beginning to recognize it is happening here, but instead of pushing this under the rug, we're actually leaning in. At Hub of Hope, we say, live to lean in. We're leaning in, we're providing assistance, we're talking about it, and we're doing our best to come and support those survivors who want to exit a life of trafficking.
So I'm not really familiar with human trafficking. What exactly is that involved?
Yeah, a lot of people believe that they understand trafficking, and they think that it probably includes kidnapping or harboring, some kind of transportation of a person. Maybe a border is involved. And all of those things are true with trafficking. But what we have to realize also is that trafficking could just be the exchange of a person to someone else, just the receipt of a person. So the definition of trafficking is actually very long. I don't think we have time on this show. But if you want to look it up, it was defined in the Trafficking of Victims Protection Act that was put out in the year 2000. We'll boil it down, and I will tell you, trafficking is the commercial trade of human beings for profit. We also boil it down even more, and we will say it is people selling people. So if I had someone that you wanted to utilize for sex or labor, in exchange for use of that person, I would receive something as the trafficker of value. That could be money, drugs, that could be a place to sleep, that could be an actual item. So it's anything that is deemed having value. So we really work a lot with the realm of sex trafficking, and that is forced prostitution. And so that's just a little bit. We could go in a whole lot more. Labor trafficking also exists, but it just hasn't been what's come to our door. But we know that's happening here in Northwest Arkansas as well.
So you've already mentioned about labor trafficking and sex trafficking. What is the most prevalent in the Northwest Arkansas area?
Well, we would say that it's sex trafficking. And we only come to that conclusion because since 2017, when we became a nonprofit, and even since 2014, when we started having these discussions, it was sex trafficking that really just came, to our attention. We have worked a couple of labor trafficking cases. It seems to be a lot more hidden. But since 2017, since we've been a nonprofit, we've worked with over 100 survivors of trafficking here in our area. We also work, really, we say the whole Midwest region of the United States, but those main survivors have been right here from the Northwest Arkansas area.
So now how can somebody identify someone who may be involved in this sex trafficking?
Yeah, I mean, some people think this is so far removed from where I am, but I'm telling you that we are a community. And so there are survivors of trafficking that we are at the store with. We see them. We have the opportunity. They're not locked away necessarily in chains or behind closed doors. Some are. But it's mind manipulation. So their chains are in their mind. So we really are in community with survivors. So we do teach markers and identifiers. I will tell a really quick story to kind of share how someone might be able to recognize. So I was serving at a serving line. It was in a motel where people were living. And I had trained some of those volunteers to recognize markers and identifiers. So I also went to one of the very first servings. I was at the beginning of the line, and a gentleman, let's just say a man, and a woman approached the table, and he had a controlling hold on her. My nanny always said he had her by the scruff of the neck, back here in the back of her neck. It was a controlling hold. Her eyes were downcast. As they approached the table, trying to get her attention, for her to speak, I said, "We have a lot to eat tonight. I can start you with some salad or some chicken." And he said, "She's not going to have any of those things." And I said, "Well, we've got, some green beans and rolls and dessert," still trying to talk with her. Her eyes stayed downcast. She never looked at me or spoke to me. And he spoke for her. He said, "No, she's only going to have those rolls and that dessert." And I said, "Okay, that's fine." Filled both of their plates. As they left, they turned and had their plates, and his hand moved to the small of her back. And when he did that, her hair was in a ponytail, and on the back of her neck was a tattoo of a barcode. And so in that story, you see so many markers. Somebody being controlled by someone else, speaking for them, not having any choices. They actually had that barcode, that branding, that tattoo on the back of her neck. And so those are just some of the markers. Other things that we teach is that someone who doesn't have identification on them, even a driver's license, any ID that's been taken from them, they talk about owing a debt. They might also come home, or you might see them with things that they can't afford. All of a sudden, they have these items. And so the list is long, and people can always visit our website to learn more of those. But it's important to realize that just because someone might have one of those markers does not necessarily mean they are a victim of human trafficking. But what it does mean is that if they have 2 or 3 of those, if we lean in with some good conversation, build some rapport, then perhaps we might be the individual to help rescue or bring them to some type of resources to help them get out of the game, out of trafficking.
So how do you help people who are victims?
Right. Well, so we actually manage a helpline. We're also connected with the National Human Trafficking Hotline. So an individual could call us, but we also have been very careful in collaboration. It's been a very important part of what we do, is to build relationship with other agencies who work with high-risk populations for trafficking. So a lot of times the calls will come from those agencies. They believe that they have a potential survivor that they're assisting already. So someone can call us. We have a victim response team, and so we then go in, we go through an assessment, and we ask that individual, could we help you? Would you like for us to help you get resources? What are the top 3 things that you need help with? Usually it's safe shelter. A lot of times they will say counseling right off the bat. They say, "I don't want to think about this anymore. I don't want to think about it. I want out of this." Food, clothing, those types of resources. So then our team works in helping them make those connections. We have a hope advocacy program, just individuals who are willing to walk that journey of healing and restoration with that survivor. We have a little hub, a transition center, that if we can't get into a safe shelter, someone into a safe shelter, they can come there. We have survivor support groups where it's a group of individuals who are survivors that can come together to work on that healing together. So lots of different ways that we assist, but it's really about being willing to lean into that survivor's story, believe it, and really help to bring resources for that survivor.
You've been in business with this organization for a number of years. Have you noticed more people being identified as victims or more cases, or is it kind of smoothing out, or is it escalating?
Well, I would say that we've been pretty consistent since the time that we started. It's hard to know. I don't think that trafficking itself is growing. Now, it may be, and there are organizations who might say that it is. What my belief is personally, is that we now are digging something out of the darkness and bringing it to light. So I think it's always been very prevalent. It's always been there. It's always been really big. But what we're doing now is we're bringing it to light. And so there's recognition of it. There's awareness of it. We actually, during COVID, it was interesting because our calls went down a little bit during that time and our need for assistance. And really, we believe that there was not the availability for those survivors to be away from their trafficker to be able to make a phone call. We're now seeing a resurgence in those calls. So, like I said, we've helped over 100 individuals since 2017. We currently have 55 active friends. We're careful to use the word client. 55 active friends at Hub of Hope that we have been blessed to be asked to journey with them.
So what can the community do to help with your organization?
I would say, number one, learn about this. You know, if this has intrigued you today, learn about this, learn more, and then share that with someone else. Be willing to learn those markers and identifiers and recognize it when you're out and about in the community. We've had calls from individuals that were walking one of the Bella Vista trails very nearby here, and it was someone in the homeless community that was along the path, and they called and we went in to ask questions. She was a survivor of trafficking. Somebody just recognized it. They were willing to lean in. We do love volunteers. Our volunteer process is a little extensive, some training, background check, but we also love opportunities to come and to share and to build awareness. So someone could connect us with a church or civic or community group. We would love the opportunity to come share, just like I'm doing today. And then, of course, we love funding partners. We collect little gift cards that help us also with our survivors. And so lots of different ways. And again, anybody can contact me through the email I think that we're providing today, and we would love to have you lean in with us.
Yeah. So to help these victims, do you find other locations for them or for employment for them, or what do you do to help the victims?
Right, and so we're very much client focused. We want that individual to tell us where we need to assist them. It's never, you need this. And so if they, in our intake forms, you know, those are some of the things we talk about. We set goals, we do a whole goals sheet. And in that, if that's one of the goals they want, then we help to make those connections. And so we don't have a residential center. We don't do clothing or food on site, but we help to get those resources from other agencies. So that's why that coalition we formed, that collaboration is so very important.
Now, is there anything specific that the community can do to help these survivors, these victims?
Right, and so I think just the recognition that it's happening, you know, that it is happening here, being able to provide those services and resources. And so if somebody does have a resource that maybe we're not familiar with, we would love to know about you. So contact us so that we can have that in our resource list.
Well, thank you, Jenny, or Jennifer. You said you told me
we're friends now, so you call me Jenny.
I can call you Jenny. How can people get in contact with you?
Well, so they can reach us at Hub of Hope. The number is 479-640-0022. They can visit our website is really the easiest way, and it's just hubofhope.org.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being with us on Bella Vista and Beyond. And we love talking with people who are in organizations that help the community, and also organizations that need volunteers. But I'd like to close with a quote from Edward Everett Hale. He said, "I am only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do." Thank you for tuning in to Bella Vista and Beyond, and have a wonderful day.
Remember, you can see this program on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at various times. You may also view this program on YouTube.com by going to Bella Vista TV. This has been a presentation of Bella Vista Community Television. Thank you for joining us.